And should this body come together in a bipartisan way, or even better, in a unanimous manner, and clarify that the Constitution prohibits killing U.S. citizens on U.S. soil absent an immediate threat, I would suggest this debate would have accomplished a great deal, because it would have made clear the limits of the executive power, and it would be indeed carrying out the finest traditions of this body, serving as a check to unchecked government power. And so I would ask of the senator from Kentucky, do you agree, if those were the outcomes of this proceedings, that this would indeed have been a beneficial proceeding for helping focus the American people on these issues and helping draw a line that the executive cannot cross consistent with the Constitution?
The cause here is one that I think is important enough to have gone through this procedure. I sit at Henry Clay's desk, and they call Henry Clay the great compromiser. When I came to Washington, one of my fellow senators said to me, he said, "Oh, I guess you'll be the great compromiser." And I kind of smiled at him and laughed, and I learned a little bit about Henry Clay and his career. And you know, people think that some of us won't compromise. There are many compromises. There are many things I'm willing to split the difference on. If the Democrats will ever come to us and say we will save Social Security, what the age we change it to, how fast we do, there are a lot of things we can split the difference on. But the issue we've had today, I think, is one that we don't split the difference on. I think you don't get half the Fifth Amendment. I don't think you acknowledge the president can obey the Fifth Amendment when he chooses. I don't think you acknowledge the Fifth Amendment due process can somehow occur behind closed doors. So while I'm a fan of Henry Clay, I've often said that I'm a fan of Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay's weapons of choice were said to be his pen and his Bowie knife. He was said to be so good with the first that he often had recourse to the latter. He was a fierce abolitionist. He didn't suffer fools, and he didn't compromise often. But what I would say is, it is worth fighting for what you believe in. I think the American people can tolerate a debate and a discussion. There's been nothing mean-spirited about this debate for 12 hours. I think, in fact, more of it would be even better. I wish we had more open and enjoined debate. The senior senator from Illinois has brought up good points, and I think that there is much discussion. I just hope that this won't be swept under the rug, and that this isn't the end of this, but that this is the beginning of this. And I would go for another 12 hours to try to break Strom Thurmond's record, but I've discovered that there are some limits to filibustering, and I'm going to have to go take care of one of those in a few minutes here. But I do appreciate the Senate's forbearance in this, and I hope that if there are some on the other side of the aisle who have been listening and feel that they may agree on some of these issues, that if they will use their ability to impact the president's decision, and one will say that the Senate should be trying to restrain the executive branch, Republican or Democrat, and two, will use your influence to try to tell the president to do what I think really is in his heart, and that is to say, absolutely, we're not going to be killing Americans not in a combat situation, that we will obey the Constitution, that the Fifth Amendment does apply to all Americans, and there aren't exceptions. But I thank you very much for the forbearance, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President. Senator from Illinois. There will be order. There will be order. Expressions of approval or disapproval are not permitted in the Senate. There will be order.